Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to know that your presence here today is no accident. You've been guided to this moment because somewhere deep inside, you know that you are ready for a profound shift in how you experience abundance and wealth in your life. Right now, wherever you are sitting or standing, just take a gentle breath with me. Feel yourself settling into this sacred space we're creating together. I've spent many years working with people from all walks of life, and one thing I've learned is that when it comes to money and wealth, we all carry such tender, vulnerable places in our hearts. Perhaps you've been struggling financially, watching your bank account with worry, wondering when things will turn around. Maybe you've been working so hard, giving everything you have, yet prosperity seems to slip through your fingers like water. Or perhaps you've achieved some level of success, but you still feel this nagging sense that you don't truly deserve it, that it could all disappear at any moment. Whatever brought you here today, I want you to know that these feelings are completely natural and human. There's nothing wrong with you for having them. In fact, your willingness to be here, to explore a different way of relating to money and abundance, shows such courage and wisdom. You're not broken, and you don't need to be fixed. You simply need to remember the truth of who you are and reconnect with the abundant nature that is your birthright. I understand how exhausting it can feel to keep trying different approaches to wealth and success, only to find yourself back in the same patterns of worry and lack. You might have read books, attended seminars, tried budgeting systems, or even worked with financial advisors, yet still find yourself lying awake at night wondering how you'll pay the bills or achieve your dreams. This isn't because you're doing anything wrong. It's because most approaches to wealth focus only on the external actions and strategies, while ignoring the internal landscape where true transformation begins. Today, we're going to explore something different. We're going to look at wealth not as something you have to chase or earn through struggle, but as something that flows naturally when you align with your true nature. This isn't about positive thinking or pretending everything is fine when it's not. This is about healing the deepest places within you that have been blocking the flow of abundance that wants to come to you. You see, the universe is incredibly abundant. Look around you at nature, the countless leaves on trees, the endless grains of sand on beaches, the infinite stars in the sky. Abundance is the natural state of existence. Yet somehow, many of us have learned to believe in scarcity, to live in fear that there isn't enough. These beliefs didn't originate with you. They were passed down through generations, absorbed from family patterns, cultural conditioning, and early experiences that taught you to associate money with struggle, stress, or shame. But here's what I want you to understand. Those old beliefs are not the truth about you. They're simply thoughts and patterns that you learned, and anything that was learned can be unlearned. You have the power to choose new thoughts, new beliefs, and new ways of being with money that serve your highest good. This isn't about overnight magic or unrealistic expectations. It's about beginning a gentle, loving process of transformation that honors where you are while opening you to where you want to be. As we spend this time together, I invite you to let yourself be open to possibility. You don't have to believe everything I share, and you don't have to change everything at once. Simply allow yourself to consider that there might be another way. Allow yourself to feel what it would be like to live from abundance rather than lack, to trust that you are worthy of prosperity, and to know that your good is always seeking you, just as you are seeking it. Your financial struggles are not a punishment or a sign that you're not trying hard enough. They're often the result of unconscious beliefs and patterns that you inherited or developed as a way to protect yourself. Today, we begin the gentle work of updating these patterns with love and compassion, creating space for a new relationship with money and wealth to emerge. Now let's explore something that might surprise you. Your relationship with money is actually a mirror of your relationship with yourself. The way you think about money, talk about money, and feel about money reflects your deepest beliefs about your own worth, safety, and deservingness. This connection runs so deep that most people never realize it's there, yet it shapes every financial decision and outcome in their lives. Think about the messages you received about money when you were growing up. Perhaps you heard things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, or rich people are greedy. Maybe your family struggled financially, and you absorbed the stress and worry that surrounded money conversations. Or perhaps money was abundant in your household, but it came with conditions, expectations, or emotional distance that taught you that love and worth had to be earned. These early experiences created what I call your money story, a collection of beliefs, emotions, and patterns that operate beneath your conscious awareness but powerfully influence your financial reality. Your money story might include beliefs like, I don't deserve wealth, or money is hard to come by, or if I have money, others will judge me, or I'm not smart enough with money. These beliefs feel true because they've been with you for so long, but they're actually just learned responses that can be changed. One of the most common patterns I see is the belief that having money somehow makes you a bad person or takes away from others. This belief often comes from religious or cultural conditioning that portrayed wealth as spiritual poverty or moral corruption. But this creates such internal conflict. Part of you wants financial freedom and security, while another part feels guilty or ashamed for wanting it. This internal war exhausts your energy and blocks the natural flow of abundance. Another pattern many people carry is the belief that they must struggle and sacrifice to earn money. This might have been modeled by parents who worked multiple jobs or constantly worried about finances. While hard work certainly has its place, when it becomes the only way you know how to relate to money, you create a life of endless striving without the joy and ease that wealth is meant to bring. Some people learned that money was scarce and must be hoarded or protected at all costs. This creates a tight, fearful relationship with money, where spending feels dangerous and receiving feels impossible. Others learned that money was shameful or dirty, something not to be discussed or acknowledged. This creates disconnection and unconsciousness around financial decisions. What's beautiful to understand is that these patterns were formed by a younger version of yourself who was simply trying to make sense of the world and stay safe. That little one did the best they could with the information and circumstances they had. But now, as an adult, you have the opportunity to gently update these old programs with wisdom, love, and conscious choice. Your money story also includes the relationship your parents had with each other around money. If there was conflict, secrecy, or power struggles around finances, you might have unconsciously decided that money causes relationship problems. If one parent controlled all the money while the other felt powerless, you might have absorbed patterns around money and control that play out in your adult relationships. The wonderful news is that once you become aware of these patterns, you begin to have choice about them. You can start to see them as learned responses rather than absolute truths. You can begin to question whether these old beliefs still serve you or whether it's time to choose something new. This isn't about blaming your family or your past. It's about taking loving responsibility for creating the financial reality you truly want. As you become more conscious of your money story, you might notice how it shows up in your daily life. Perhaps you apologize when you spend money on yourself, or you feel anxious when checking your bank balance, or you avoid money conversations altogether. Maybe you swing between periods of spending freely and then restricting yourself harshly. These behaviors aren't character flaws. They're simply expressions of your underlying money story. The invitation here is to begin observing your relationship with money with gentle curiosity rather than judgment. Notice what thoughts arise when you think about money. Notice what emotions come up when you pay bills or receive income. Notice how your body feels when you consider your financial goals. This awareness, practiced with compassion, is the beginning of transformation. What many people don't realize is that your thoughts and emotions about money don't just stay in your mind. They create actual physical responses in your body that either support or hinder your financial well-being. When you think fearful thoughts about money, your body responds as if you're in physical danger. Your nervous system activates stress responses. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your muscles tense, and your entire being contracts into a state of protection and survival. In this contracted state, you're not open to receiving opportunities, inspiration, or abundance. You're focused on protecting what little you have rather than expanding into greater possibility. Your creativity diminishes, your intuition becomes clouded, and your natural magnetism for good is blocked by the armor of fear you're unconsciously wearing. On the other hand, when you feel relaxed, grateful, and trusting about money, your body responds very differently. Your nervous system calms, your breathing deepens, your posture opens, and your entire being expands into a state of receptivity and flow. In this open state, you're naturally magnetic to opportunities, ideas, and resources. You make decisions from clarity rather than fear, and you take inspired action rather than desperate action. This mind-body connection is so powerful, yet most people trying to improve their finances focus only on external strategies, while their internal state remains locked in patterns of stress and contraction. It's like trying to drive a car with the emergency brake on. You might make some progress, but it's going to be slow, difficult, and exhausting. Your body holds the memory of every financial stress, every money worry, every moment of lack you've experienced. These memories create what I call poverty patterns in your nervous system, automatic responses that activate whenever money situations arise. Your body might tense up when you think about investing, or your stomach might churn when you consider asking for a raise, or your chest might feel tight when you look at your bills. These physical responses aren't just uncomfortable, they actually block your ability to think clearly and act wisely around money. When your body is in stress response, the part of your brain responsible for creativity and higher thinking goes offline. You literally can't access your best thinking when your nervous system perceives financial danger. But here's what's truly amazing. When you learn to soothe your nervous system and create safety in your body around money, everything changes. Your thinking becomes clearer, your intuition becomes stronger, and you naturally begin to attract more abundant experiences. You start to notice opportunities that were always there, but that you couldn't see through the lens of fear and stress. This is why so many people find that when they finally relax about money, money starts flowing more easily. It's not because the universe suddenly decided to reward them. It's because they're finally in a state where they can receive what was always trying to come to them. The beautiful thing about working with your nervous system is that small shifts can create profound changes. When you consciously breathe deeply while thinking about your finances, you're literally rewiring your body's response to money. When you place your hand on your heart and speak gently to yourself about your financial situation, you're creating new neural pathways of safety and self-compassion around wealth. Your body wants to feel safe and abundant. It wants to relax into trust and flow. But it needs your conscious partnership to unlearn the old patterns of financial stress and create new patterns of financial ease. This isn't about denying real financial challenges or pretending everything is perfect when it's not. It's about creating an internal environment where you can respond to financial situations from wisdom rather than panic, from creativity rather than limitation. When your body feels safe around money, you naturally make better financial decisions. You're more likely to invest in yourself and your growth. You're more open to receiving help and support. You're more willing to take calculated risks that can lead to greater rewards. You operate from abundance rather than scarcity, and this shift in your internal state creates corresponding shifts in your external circumstances. The invitation here is to begin paying attention to how money feels in your body. Notice where you hold tension when financial stress arises. Notice what happens to your breathing when you think about your financial goals. Begin to consciously create moments of relaxation and ease around money topics. This simple awareness and intention can begin to shift patterns that have been operating unconsciously for years. As we begin to understand the deep patterns that have been shaping your financial reality, it becomes clear that true transformation requires a gentle release of the old stories that no longer serve you. These stories have been with you for so long that they feel like absolute truth, but they're actually just thoughts and beliefs that took root in fertile soil of a young, impressionable mind. Today, we can begin the loving work of uprooting these old patterns and planting seeds of new possibility. Many of the limiting beliefs about money that you carry were never actually yours to begin with. They were inherited from family lines that stretch back generations, passed down like genetic traits, but carrying emotional rather than physical information. Perhaps your great-grandmother lived through economic depression and developed beliefs about scarcity that got passed to your grandmother, who passed them to your mother, who unknowingly passed them to you. These inherited patterns can feel so natural, so much a part of your identity, that questioning them seems impossible. But here's what I want you to understand. You have the power to be the one who breaks these cycles. You can be the person in your family line who chooses abundance over scarcity, trust over fear, worthiness over unworthiness. This isn't about betraying your family or rejecting your heritage. It's about honoring the struggles of those who came before you by choosing to heal what they couldn't heal, to see what they couldn't see, to experience what they couldn't experience. One of the most powerful steps in releasing old money stories is learning to forgive. This forgiveness has many layers, and each layer creates more space for abundance to flow into your life. First, there's forgiveness for the people who unknowingly passed limiting beliefs to you. Your parents, teachers, and other influential figures in your childhood were doing the best they could with their own inherited patterns and life circumstances. They weren't trying to limit your prosperity. They were trying to protect you with the only tools they had. Then there's forgiveness for yourself, for all the financial mistakes you've made, all the opportunities you've missed, all the times you've acted from fear instead of wisdom. This self-forgiveness is often the hardest but most crucial piece. Many people stay stuck in financial limitation because they're punishing themselves for past financial decisions. But this self-punishment only perpetuates the cycle of lack. When you forgive yourself, you free up enormous amounts of energy that can now be directed toward creating abundance. There's also forgiveness for money itself. Many people carry anger toward money, anger that it seems so hard to come by, anger that it causes stress and conflict, anger that others seem to have it easier. But money is simply energy, a neutral tool for exchange. It's not good or bad in itself. It simply amplifies whatever consciousness you bring to it. When you forgive money for all the pain you've associated with it, you open the door to a completely new relationship. The process of releasing old money stories often brings up intense emotions. You might feel sadness as you recognize how these patterns have limited your life. You might feel anger at the unfairness of inheriting beliefs that weren't true or helpful. You might feel fear about who you'll be without these familiar patterns, even though they've caused pain. All of these emotions are welcome and normal. They're signs that deep healing is taking place. One pattern that particularly needs gentle release is the belief that struggling with money somehow makes you more spiritual or noble. This belief often comes from religious conditioning that equated poverty with purity and wealth with corruption. But struggling financially doesn't make you a better person any more than being wealthy makes you a worse person. Your spiritual worth is inherent and unchanging, regardless of your bank balance. Another pattern that deserves compassionate release is the belief that you must sacrifice your own well-being for others. Many people, especially women, have been taught that putting their own financial needs first is selfish. But when you don't take care of your own financial foundation, you actually have less to offer others. Financial self-care is not selfish, it's responsible and loving, both to yourself and to those you want to help. The guilt and shame many people carry around money also needs tender attention. Perhaps you feel guilty for wanting more when others have less. Perhaps you feel ashamed of financial mistakes you've made. Perhaps you carry shame about your family's financial struggles or your own current circumstances. This guilt and shame are like heavy anchors that keep you stuck in limitation. As you gently release them, you'll find yourself naturally rising to new levels of financial possibility. Sometimes the beliefs that most need releasing are the ones that feel most protective. The belief that expecting little means you won't be disappointed feels safer than opening to great abundance. The belief that money causes problems feels more secure than believing that money can solve problems and create wonderful experiences. But these protective beliefs often cost you far more than they protect you from. As you release these old patterns, you might notice that they don't go quietly. They might intensify for a while, trying to prove their validity. You might have thoughts like, "See, you tried this positive thinking before, and it didn't work," or "You're just fooling yourself if you think you can be wealthy." These thoughts are normal expressions of old patterns that are being challenged. You don't have to fight them or make them go away. You can simply acknowledge them with compassion and continue choosing new thoughts that align with the abundant life you're creating. The release process is not about perfection or never having a fearful thought about money again. It's about changing your relationship to these thoughts. Instead of automatically believing and acting from limiting thoughts, you begin to see them as old programming that you can choose to update. You develop the ability to witness these patterns with loving awareness rather than being unconsciously controlled by them. Now, as you begin to clear away the old beliefs and stories that have been limiting your financial flow, it becomes possible to connect with a truth that has always been present, but perhaps obscured: your inherent worth and deservingness of abundance. This worth isn't something you need to earn or prove. It's built into the very fabric of your being. You were born worthy of love, joy, peace, and yes, financial abundance too. Many people struggle with the concept of deservingness because they've been taught to measure their worth by external achievements, good behavior, or how much they give to others. But true worth isn't based on performance or comparison. It's based on the simple fact that you exist. You deserve abundance for the same reason that flowers deserve sunshine and water, because you're a natural part of an abundant universe. This connection between self-love and financial abundance runs deeper than most people realize. When you truly love and value yourself, you naturally create conditions that reflect that love and value. You invest in yourself, you speak up for your needs, you make choices that honor your well-being, and you attract circumstances that mirror your internal sense of worth. Conversely, when you don't value yourself, you unconsciously create financial situations that reflect that lack of self-worth. Self-love in relation to money shows up in practical ways. It means paying your bills with appreciation rather than resentment. It means investing in your health, education, and growth rather than only spending on immediate needs. It means setting boundaries around your time and energy so that you're compensated fairly for your contributions. It means treating yourself with the same kindness and generosity you would show a beloved friend. Many people have been taught that self-love is selfish or narcissistic, but true self-love is actually the foundation for all healthy relationships and successful endeavors. When you love yourself, you're not taking love away from others. You're creating more love in the world. When you value yourself, you're not diminishing anyone else's value. You're demonstrating that all people have inherent worth. The inner wealth that creates outer wealth consists of qualities like self-respect, self-trust, gratitude, generosity, creativity, and joy. These qualities can't be taken away from you by external circumstances. They're yours to cultivate and express regardless of your current financial situation. In fact, developing these inner qualities often becomes the bridge to improved outer circumstances. Self-respect shows up as refusing to work in environments that consistently undervalue you, setting clear boundaries around your time and energy, and making financial decisions that honor your long-term well-being rather than just providing immediate relief. Self-trust appears as confidence in your ability to handle financial challenges, willingness to take calculated risks for greater rewards, and faith in your capacity to create the abundance you desire. Gratitude as inner wealth means appreciating what you already have while remaining open to more. It's the recognition that abundance isn't just about having large amounts of money. It's about feeling wealthy with whatever you have. This feeling of wealth, regardless of external circumstances, creates the energetic foundation for attracting more abundance. Generosity as inner wealth might seem counterintuitive when you're working on increasing your own prosperity, but it's actually one of the most powerful wealth-building qualities you can develop. When you give from genuine love and abundance consciousness rather than obligation or manipulation, you affirm your belief in unlimited supply. You demonstrate faith that there's always enough, and this faith becomes a magnet for more abundance. Creativity and joy are perhaps the most undervalued aspects of wealth consciousness. When you approach your financial life with creativity, you find solutions that others miss. You discover opportunities in unexpected places. You innovate your way out of limitations rather than just working harder within them. Joy in your financial life means finding ways to enjoy the process of earning, saving, spending, and investing, rather than viewing these activities as necessary drudgery. The practice of appreciating yourself builds the inner foundation for outer abundance. This means acknowledging your skills, talents, and contributions without minimizing or dismissing them. It means celebrating your financial progress, no matter how small. It means speaking to yourself about money with the same kindness and encouragement you would offer a dear friend. This self-appreciation practice directly impacts your earning capacity. When you truly value what you offer, others naturally value it too. When you appreciate your own skills and talents, you're more likely to seek opportunities that utilize and compensate them appropriately. When you celebrate your financial wins, you create more experiences worth celebrating. As you develop this inner sense of worth and wealth, you might notice resistance from old parts of yourself that were trained to be small, invisible, or self-sacrificing. These parts meant well. They were trying to keep you safe and loved, but they're based on outdated information about what's required for safety and love in your life now. You can honor these protective parts while gently updating them with new information about your worth and the abundant nature of the universe. Building on this foundation of inner worth and self-love, we come to one of the most transformative secrets of wealth consciousness, the power of grateful receiving. Most people focus on what they don't have, what they need, and what they want more of. But true abundance consciousness begins with deep appreciation for what's already flowing into your life. This appreciation becomes a magnet that naturally draws more good to you. When you look at your life through the lens of gratitude, you begin to see abundance everywhere. You notice the wealth of relationships, experiences, opportunities, and resources that surround you daily. You recognize that you're already living in a constant flow of receiving air to breathe, water to drink, food to nourish your body, ideas to inspire your mind, and love to warm your heart. This recognition shifts you from a consciousness of lack to a consciousness of abundance. Many people unknowingly block their financial good by being poor receivers. They deflect compliments, refuse help, feel guilty about gifts, and constantly focus on what they're giving rather than what they're receiving. But giving and receiving are two sides of the same flow, and when you block one side, you limit the other. Learning to receive gracefully and gratefully opens channels for abundance to flow more freely in all areas of your life. Grateful receiving means saying thank you with genuine appreciation rather than minimizing gifts or acting as if you don't deserve them. It means noticing and acknowledging the many ways that life supports you each day. It means recognizing that everything from the roof over your head to the device you're using to watch this comes from an intricate web of human cooperation and natural abundance. This practice of grateful receiving extends to money and financial blessings. When money comes to you, whether through your work, gifts, refunds, or unexpected sources, receive it with appreciation rather than immediately focusing on how it's not enough or where it needs to go. Take a moment to feel genuinely grateful that this money has found its way to you. This gratitude creates an energetic welcome sign that invites more abundance to follow. One of the most powerful aspects of grateful receiving is learning to appreciate money that flows to you through your work. Many people view their paycheck as something they've earned through hard labor, something they deserve because they've suffered for it. But what if you could receive your income as a gift from an abundant universe that wants to support you? What if you could feel genuine gratitude that your skills and talents are valued enough that someone wants to exchange money for them? This shift in perspective transforms work from drudgery to a joyful exchange of value. When you appreciate the money you receive through your work, you naturally begin to offer more value, which leads to increased compensation. When you're grateful for your current income, you create space for that income to grow. Grateful receiving also means being open to abundance showing up in unexpected ways. Perhaps someone offers to pay for your meal, or you find money you'd forgotten about, or you receive a discount you weren't expecting. Instead of dismissing these as coincidences or feeling awkward about accepting them, you can receive them as expressions of an abundant universe that's always looking for ways to bless you. The practice of daily gratitude for wealth consciousness isn't just about feeling good. It's about training your mind to notice abundance rather than lack. When you consistently focus on what you have rather than what you don't have, you literally rewire your brain to be more sensitive to opportunities, resources, and blessings. You become someone who naturally sees possibilities rather than problems, solutions rather than obstacles. This daily practice might include appreciating the money in your wallet, the food in your refrigerator, the utilities that provide comfort to your home, the transportation that gets you where you need to go, and the countless other forms of abundance that you might typically take for granted. As you practice this appreciation consistently, you'll notice that your overall sense of prosperity increases regardless of changes in your bank balance. Grateful receiving also involves appreciating the non-monetary abundance in your life as much as the monetary abundance. The sunset that costs nothing but enriches your spirit, the friend who listens without charging a fee, the inspiration that comes freely but has infinite value. When you appreciate all forms of abundance, you align with the abundant nature of existence itself, and this alignment naturally includes financial abundance. Now that your heart is opening to receive the abundance that wants to flow to you, we can explore one of the most powerful tools for transforming your wealth consciousness: affirmations. Affirmations are not just positive words or wishful thinking. They are conscious declarations of truth that help reprogram your subconscious mind with beliefs that support your highest good. When you work with affirmations consistently and lovingly, you begin to create new neural pathways that naturally attract more abundant experiences. The key to working with money affirmations is understanding that you're not trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. You're remembering and affirming what has always been true about your abundant nature. You're aligning your conscious thoughts with the deeper truth of your inherent worthiness and the unlimited nature of universal supply. This process takes patience and gentleness with yourself, especially when old limiting beliefs surface to challenge your new affirmations. One of the most fundamental affirmations for wealth consciousness is "I am worthy of abundance in all forms." This simple statement addresses the core issue that blocks most people's prosperity: the unconscious belief that they don't deserve wealth and abundance. When you repeat this affirmation with feeling and conviction, you're literally overriding old programming that told you otherwise. You might notice resistance when you first begin saying this. Thoughts like, "No, I'm not," or "Who am I to have abundance?" This resistance is normal and actually shows you where healing is needed most. Another powerful affirmation is, "Money flows to me easily and joyfully." This statement helps reprogram beliefs about money being hard to come by or requiring struggle and sacrifice. As you work with this affirmation, you might notice old thoughts arising about having to work hard for money or that easy money isn't honest money. Gently acknowledge these old beliefs and continue affirming the new truth that money can flow with ease and joy. "I gratefully receive all the abundance that life offers me" is an affirmation that specifically works with your capacity to receive. Many people are more comfortable giving than receiving, but this affirmation helps open your heart and energy field to welcome in the good that wants to come to you. It combines gratitude with receptivity, creating a powerful magnetic quality that naturally draws abundance. When working with affirmations, it's important to choose words that feel authentic and believable to you. If saying "I am wealthy" feels too far from your current reality and triggers too much resistance, you might start with "I am becoming more prosperous every day," or "I am open to increasing abundance in my life." The goal is to stretch your comfort zone without creating so much internal conflict that you reject the affirmation entirely. The most effective way to work with affirmations is to say them while looking at yourself in a mirror. This practice, which I call mirror work, can feel uncomfortable at first, but it's incredibly powerful for building self-love and changing deep-seated beliefs. When you look into your own eyes and speak words of abundance and worthiness, you're communicating directly with your subconscious mind in the most powerful way possible. As you practice mirror work with money affirmations, you might notice emotions arising: sadness about years of financial struggle, anger about messages you received about money, or joy about finally choosing to love and value yourself enough to claim abundance. All of these emotions are welcome. They're signs that deep transformation is taking place. Continue to speak lovingly to yourself through whatever emotions arise. I love and approve of myself, and I deserve abundance is a particularly powerful affirmation because it connects self-love with financial prosperity. This helps heal the false separation between being a good person and having money. When you truly love and approve of yourself, abundant living becomes a natural expression of that self-love rather than something you have to earn or justify. Some people find it helpful to create personal affirmations that address their specific money challenges. If you struggle with spending money on yourself, you might affirm, "I lovingly invest in my well-being and growth." If you have difficulty asking for fair compensation, you could work with, "I confidently request payment that reflects my value." If saving money feels impossible, try, "I easily and joyfully set aside money for my future prosperity." The timing of when you practice affirmations matters too. The most powerful times are right upon waking and just before sleep, when your conscious mind is quieter and your subconscious is more receptive. You might also find it helpful to repeat affirmations while engaging in daily activities like walking, cooking, or commuting. This helps integrate the new beliefs into your everyday experience rather than keeping them separate from your practical life. When resistance arises to your affirmations, and it will, meet it with compassion rather than force. The resistant thoughts and feelings are old protective patterns that were created for good reasons. Thank them for trying to keep you safe, and gently let them know that you're choosing new beliefs that serve you better now. You're not trying to destroy these old patterns. You're lovingly updating them. Building on the foundation of these new beliefs and affirmations, let's explore practical daily practices that will help integrate wealth consciousness into every aspect of your life. These practices are designed to be simple enough to maintain consistently while powerful enough to create real transformation over time. The key is choosing practices that feel nourishing rather than burdensome, and starting small so you can build sustainable habits. Your morning routine sets the energetic tone for your entire day, making it a perfect time to establish wealth consciousness practices. Begin each day with a few minutes of gratitude for the abundance already present in your life. This might include appreciating the comfortable bed you slept in, the clean water available when you wash your face, the food you'll eat for breakfast, and the opportunities that await you. This practice trains your mind to notice abundance first thing each morning rather than immediately focusing on problems or lack. After your gratitude practice, spend a few moments visualizing your day unfolding with ease and prosperity. See yourself moving through your activities with confidence and joy. Visualize money flowing to you through expected and unexpected channels. Imagine yourself making decisions from abundance rather than fear, and picture yourself receiving opportunities, ideas, and resources that support your financial well-being. This visualization isn't about forcing specific outcomes. It's about aligning your energy with prosperity consciousness. Following your visualization, choose 1 or 2 affirmations to carry with you throughout the day. Write them on a small card you can keep in your wallet or purse, or set them as reminders on your phone. Whenever you think of them during the day, repeat them silently or aloud, especially during moments when old limiting thoughts about money arise. Your relationship with money throughout the day offers countless opportunities for consciousness practice. When you pay for something, do so with appreciation rather than resentment. Thank the money for providing what you need, and thank yourself for having the resources to make the purchase. When you receive money, even if it's change from a purchase, receive it with gratitude and respect. Practice conscious spending by pausing before each purchase to check in with yourself. Ask whether this expenditure aligns with your values and supports your well-being. This isn't about judging your desires or restricting yourself harshly. It's about making choices that honor your prosperity consciousness and long-term financial goals. When you do choose to spend money, do so joyfully and without guilt. At the end of each day, create an evening practice that reinforces wealth consciousness. This might include writing in a gratitude journal, noting 3 ways that abundance showed up in your day. Perhaps someone smiled at you, you found a parking space easily, you received a helpful email, or you had an inspiring idea. These small abundances are training your mind to recognize the constant flow of good in your life. Your evening practice might also include reviewing any money-related activities from the day with compassion and learning. If you made a financial decision you're questioning, explore what you can learn from it rather than criticizing yourself. If you received money or opportunities, celebrate these wins and feel genuine appreciation for them. This review helps you stay conscious about your financial choices while building confidence in your ability to manage money wisely. Another powerful daily practice is what I call wealthy thinking throughout your regular activities. This means approaching daily tasks and decisions as someone who lives from abundance consciousness. When you're grocery shopping, choose items that nourish your body rather than just the cheapest options. When you're getting dressed, select clothes that make you feel confident and valuable. When you're working, offer your best efforts as an expression of your abundant nature rather than doing the minimum required. Journaling specifically about your relationship with money can provide powerful insights and healing. You might explore questions like, what would I do if I knew I was financially secure? How would I treat myself differently if I felt truly wealthy? What fears about money am I ready to release? What dreams have I been postponing due to financial concerns? This writing helps bring unconscious patterns into awareness where they can be lovingly transformed. Physical practices can also support wealth consciousness. Taking good care of your body through nutritious food, adequate rest, joyful movement, and stress management demonstrates the self-love that attracts abundance. When you treat your body as the precious vessel it is, you align with the value and worth that naturally magnetize prosperity. Finally, consider creating a small daily ritual that celebrates your relationship with money. This might involve lighting a candle while paying bills and sending gratitude to the companies providing services. It could mean placing your hand on your heart each time you receive money and saying thank you. Or it might involve setting aside a few coins each day while affirming your growing prosperity. These rituals help make your financial activities sacred rather than mundane. As these daily practices become natural parts of your routine, you're ready to explore what it means to live as a wealthy person right now, regardless of your current bank balance. This is perhaps the most transformative aspect of wealth consciousness, understanding that feeling wealthy is not dependent on having large amounts of money, but rather on adopting the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors of someone who lives from abundance. Living as wealthy now means making choices from abundance consciousness rather than scarcity consciousness in every area of your life. It means choosing quality over quantity when possible, investing in yourself and your growth, and treating yourself and others with the respect and generosity that come naturally when you feel truly prosperous. This isn't about spending money you don't have or pretending your financial challenges don't exist. It's about aligning your internal state with the wealth you're creating. Wealthy consciousness shows up in how you speak about money and your financial situation. Instead of constantly talking about what you can't afford or how hard money is to come by, you begin speaking about money with respect and optimism. You might say things like, I'm choosing not to purchase that right now, instead of, I can't afford it, or I'm directing my money toward other priorities rather than, I'm broke. This shift in language reflects and reinforces a shift in consciousness from victim to creator. The way you treat yourself on a daily basis reflects your internal sense of wealth. Wealthy consciousness means taking time for self-care even when you're busy, eating nourishing food rather than just whatever is convenient, and creating beauty in your environment regardless of your budget. It means speaking to yourself with kindness and respect, setting boundaries that honor your time and energy, and making decisions that support your long-term well-being rather than just providing immediate relief from discomfort. Your physical environment is another area where you can embody wealth consciousness now. This doesn't mean buying expensive things you can't afford, but rather taking care of what you have, creating order and beauty with what's available to you, and treating your possessions with respect and appreciation. A wealthy person values their belongings and maintains them well, regardless of how much those belongings cost. Living as wealthy now also means being generous when you can afford to be and gracious when you can't. Wealthy consciousness includes understanding that there are many ways to give beyond money. Your time, attention, skills, encouragement, and love are all valuable gifts. When you give from genuine abundance consciousness rather than obligation or guilt, you affirm your belief in unlimited supply and naturally attract more abundance. The relationships you cultivate reflect your wealth consciousness too. Wealthy people surround themselves with others who support their growth and success rather than those who encourage limitation and complaint. This doesn't mean abandoning friends or family who are struggling, but it does mean choosing to spend most of your time with people who inspire you to expand rather than contract. Your approach to opportunities demonstrates wealth consciousness as well. Instead of automatically saying no to invitations, experiences, or possibilities because of money concerns, a wealthy person evaluates each opportunity based on its total value, the potential for growth, joy, connection, and learning, as well as its financial cost. Sometimes the investment in an experience or education provides returns that far exceed its monetary cost. Wealthy consciousness also includes the willingness to invest in yourself and your future. This might mean spending money on books, courses, or coaching that support your growth. It could involve investing time in developing new skills or nurturing important relationships. A wealthy person understands that they are their most valuable asset and consistently makes choices that enhance their capabilities and well-being. Perhaps most importantly, living as wealthy now means maintaining faith in your ability to create the financial reality you desire. This faith doesn't depend on current circumstances. It comes from your deep knowing that you are a creative being with unlimited potential. When challenges arise, instead of seeing them as proof that abundance isn't possible for you, you view them as temporary obstacles that you're fully capable of overcoming. This wealthy consciousness also extends to how you handle money when you have it. Instead of clutching it tightly from fear that it won't be replaced, you allow money to flow through your life in ways that bring joy and value. You pay bills with appreciation, invest in your growth with excitement, and give to others with love. This flow creates more flow, while hoarding creates stagnation. As we come to the close of our time together, I want you to take a moment to feel how different you are now than when we started. Something has shifted within you, a remembering of your true nature, a reconnection with your inherent worth, an opening to possibilities that have always been available, but perhaps not visible until now. This shift didn't happen because I gave you something you didn't already have. It happened because you allowed yourself to remember what was always true about you. You are an abundant being living in an abundant universe. This isn't a pretty saying or wishful thinking. It's the fundamental truth of existence. Everything in nature demonstrates abundance. the countless leaves on trees, the infinite stars in the sky, the endless variety of life forms on earth. You are part of this abundant creation, not separate from it. When you align with this truth, abundance becomes your natural experience rather than something you have to struggle to achieve. The journey from financial limitation to financial freedom isn't just about accumulating money, it's about becoming the person who can receive, appreciate, and wisely steward wealth. Every insight you've gained today, every moment of recognition, every feeling of expanded possibility has moved you closer to becoming that person. The external changes in your financial circumstances will follow as natural expressions of these internal transformations. Remember that this process unfolds in perfect timing. You don't need to rush or force anything. You don't need to transform everything overnight. Simply continue nurturing the seeds of abundance consciousness that have been planted today. Water them with daily practices, tend them with loving self-care, and trust that they will grow and flourish in their own perfect season. Some days will feel easier than others. Sometimes old patterns will resurface, and you might temporarily forget the truths you've remembered today. This is all part of the journey. When limiting thoughts arise, greet them with the same compassion you would show a frightened child. They're just old protective patterns that need gentle reassurance that you're safe to expand into greater abundance now. Your willingness to be here, to explore these ideas, to open your heart to new possibilities demonstrates such courage and wisdom. Change isn't always comfortable, especially when it involves shifting beliefs and patterns that have been with you for years. But you've shown up anyway, and that willingness is already transforming your life in ways you may not even recognize yet. As you go forward, trust the process that has begun within you. Trust your capacity to create positive change. Trust that the universe truly does want to support your prosperity and well-being. Most importantly, trust yourself, your intuition, your worth, your ability to make choices that honor your abundant nature. The secret to receiving instant wealth isn't about money suddenly appearing in your bank account, though that certainly can happen. The real secret is recognizing that you already possess the most valuable form of wealth, the unlimited creative power of your consciousness. With this power, you can transform any situation, overcome any obstacle, and create any reality you truly desire. You have everything within you right now to begin living as the abundant, prosperous being you were born to be. The love, the wisdom, the strength, the creativity, it's all already there, waiting for you to claim it and express it fully. Your abundant life isn't something you have to earn or wait for. It's something you can begin living today, right where you are, with whatever you have. I love you. I honor the courage you've shown today, and I celebrate the magnificent abundance that is already flowing toward you. Thank you for allowing me to share this journey with you. Go forth and prosper, knowing that you are worthy of every good thing life has to offer.